All right, what is up, everyone? I am excited. Why? Because I finally hit diamond. I finally have tons of time on my hands, and I was able to take a few hours the other day, do a little bit of laddering. I'm at diamond now. Next up, making that climb to masters. But until then, we got more deck reviews. So today we're going to go over the Ezreal Noxus deck. So if you are looking for a deck guide for Ezreal Noxus, you are 100% in the right place. What I'm going to show you in a second is why the Noxus version is a million times better than the Freljord version ever was. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you are new, my name is Justin, also known as Shit Just Works. And today we are going over the Ezreal Noxus deck. But before we do so, I want to know from you guys which one you like playing more. So if you played the Freljord version, you played the Noxus version, let me know in the comments below which one you like more and which one you think is better. Right before we get into the gameplay, being that Ezreal decks typically are much harder to play from a skill level point of view than other decks, I am going to be going over some of the decisions I make in greater detail here. So I hope this helps with you guys, learning how to play this deck, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So real quick, we're going to go ahead and summarize some of the card choices in this deck. There's obviously a few differences from the Freljord version. Most notably, there's no Avarosian Sentry, which was, more draw power. However, this deck does have more rummages. So I believe the version that I have, which the Freljord version, I do have a link that's going to be in the description below. There's also a deck code that you guys can use. That only played one rummage. The Noxus version is able to reliably play 3 rummages, and that's because they can use Jury Rig, as well as, now that we're playing Draven, we have all of his spinning axes, and you're usually getting 2 spinning axes per Draven per game, at least one obviously when you play him, so it's definitely a much more reliable card in the Noxus version as opposed to Freljord. So the other thing is, obviously you don't have any of these freeze cards, things like Harsh Winds, so there is actually, if you count, there's technically one less targeting card in the Noxus version than the Freljord version, but that's assuming you only use the guillotine once per guillotine, right? So, and obviously you can use that as many times as they have damaged enemies. So technically the Freljord version has more targets. However, I think that the targeting in the Noxus version, things like Culling Strike, things like Guillotine, they provide much more long-lasting value and better removal than Freljord ever did. You needed to have the units in conjunction with the freeze, like an Elnuk, to really get value out of that freeze and still kill the enemy unit while keeping your unit. That's not the case with this deck. You just get straight-out removal, and I think that that is 100% better. The last reason I think this deck is by far better than the Freljord version is the burst potential. So the best way to get Ezreal's combo off is to play burst cards because your opponent cannot respond. They have no chance to play any heal, a health potion, anything like that, right? So if you're able to get, 2 Jury Rigs, 3 Rummages, a Progress Day off all in the same turn, you're able to do, 10 to 14 damage in one turn without them being able to respond. This deck can do that much more reliably. Technically, the Freljord version had more burst spells and that it had Harsh Winds, but honestly, it's too hard to play the Harsh Winds alongside a Progress Day, alongside the other 1-cost burst spells, because even a discounted Harsh Winds is 5 mana, plus the 8 mana for Progress Day. That's all 13 mana. So you have to hit the other 1-cost burst spells as a reduced cost Progress Day card. So the draw potential with this deck to do the burst spells and to just draw into all of your outs, I think is far greater than from the Freljord version. And I know I said that was the last thing, but you know what? The Elnuks, I like the Elnuk nerf now because the Elnuks, I think, took away from the identity of this deck. Usually ended up lucking out and winning with the Elnuks, and all of a sudden it became an Ezreal mid-range deck. I don't think that was really healthy for the game. So props to Riot for nerfing the Elnuks, making them not really a part of the Ezreal combo deck anymore. Now this does truly feel like an OTK combo deck the way it was supposed to be designed. So with all that said, let's get into the gameplay. So first up, in looking at his deck, I didn't hover over it in the video, but it's just Draven, so that tells me it's aggro, but it's some sort of different variant. It's not burn or discard. He's playing the Battlecaster first, so that tells me he might have not that great of a hand. I do decide to Mystic Shot the Battlecaster right away. I probably could have gotten away with waiting a turn, but usually you want to do that because if they decide to open attack, there's no way for you to stop that Arena Battlecaster effect from going off. And that can definitely be a pain in the ass, especially if they have other followers on the field. Same goes for the Arachnoid Sentry. I'm deciding to open Stun here on the Draven, which pretty much completely shuts down his attack. That's usually when you're going to want to use the Sentry, and it feels really good to use it when they've expelled all of their follower mana, and you come in and you stun their biggest unit, and now all of a sudden their attack is basically nada. And you do want to remember that playing a control deck like this, every turn that you can buy matters, and every turn that you can take 0 damage is good for you. I do decide to open pass here back to them before I attack with the Sentry because it is an aggro deck. They are likely going to be playing another follower. They need to play another follower, which just basically put him in a different situation of who he can block with. I did wait to play the Static Shock until he played something else so that if he does play a 1 health follower, which he did end up playing, I can go ahead and target it, kill it. Can also set the Boom Crew Rookie down to 3 health, which is huge. 4 and 3 health is a huge difference in this game, so being able to get that at 3 and have everything within Get Excited range is absolutely 100% perfect. So I actually decided to pass the first attack there because I was okay with taking 3 damage the way that I was going to set up the blocks. I was going to Get Excited the Draven no matter what and save the Jury Rig blocker for the following turn. Now that he summoned the additional Legion Rear Guard, that means I'll be taking 6 damage. I need to proactively play the Get Excited. So this is one of the few times you're playing Get Excited. Now, up until this point, I thought he was playing burn spells with this aggro deck, right? I figured that was probably the variant. That's usually the way people go. Then he rips a Transfusion on me. So now I know this deck is 100% being played different, and this is where the entire game changes for me. Now I know my playstyle can 100% change. There's a very low likelihood that he's going to be able to remove anything I play in the field. So what do I do next? I follow up with an Ezreal because I'm pretty certain he is not going to be able to kill my Ezreal now. What I do want to mention too, that Noxian Guillotine saved my ass there. So that's another reason why I think Noxus is far better than Freljord, because Noxian Guillotine I think is a huge removal card. Now that Ezreal is on the board, you can see where this entire game starts to shift. Even just getting that 1 extra Mystic Shot is huge. I can peg his Legion Rear Guard. I don't want to attack with the Sentry there because I don't want him to trade his 3-1 into my 3-1 when I can actually use that Sentry next turn to block the Draven. Not to mention, I have the Blade's Edge to peg his 3-1. And now, because I was able to play that Ezreal a turn earlier, I was able to level up a turn, if not 2 turns earlier, because I proactively played the Ezreal. I knew it wasn't going to get removed. I got the additional Mystic Shot, and now we are in a absolutely wonderful scenario. So, I'm able to block with the 3-1 now, and drawing that Get Excited kind of has me thinking a little differently, right? At first, I was just going to block with the 3-1. I'm going to continue to try to stall out and draw. You know, I'm a little concerned still because I'm at 11 health. But drawing this Get Excited, now I see blood. Now I'm thinking, okay, how do we end this game? I have 11 damage in my hand. 13 if he somehow gets a damaged unit because of the Noxian Guillotine. So now I'm like, all right, how do we end this game? I also have a progress day in my hand. So more likely than not, whatever I do play, I can save the progress day for last and then draw into numerous outs I might have to eventually end the game. And that's essentially what I do here. I play the Get Excited, start, chipping down at him a little bit. I keep the 4 mana because he passes back to me so he can't, pull something weird to kill my Ezreal. I take the open attack with the Ezreal, and that pretty much seals the deal for me. I don't have quite enough mana this turn to win. But, again, I do have the Progress Day, which I do play right after this. I do end up drawing into another Mystic Shot because of it being an Ezreal, and it does get reduced to 1. This is kind of BM here. I probably should have just ended the game. I think I was telling myself, like, I have to play around him killing my Ezreal. You should usually do that at the end of the game and play around them killing your Ezreal, but in this matchup, there was no way he was ever going to kill. So he did play Get Excited. Okay, so he did rip the random Get Excited at the end, so he must have been playing Sunburn cards, but If I were to guess, he was only playing a couple Get Excited because of Draven, probably not the Mystic shots. And that's it, guys. I tried to keep this video as short and sweet as possible. And trust me, it took me a while to find a short Ezreal Noxus game. Usually, those games can go pretty long, especially if it's against another control deck. So, I hope you guys like this. Definitely, I would love some feedback below. If you like the shorter videos, the shorter deck introduction, stuff like that. Trying to pack as much content in there as quickly and as short amount of time as possible. So if you like the video, smash that like button. If you are new, definitely hit that sub button to get a lot more Runeterra content on the way. And as always, everybody stay healthy, stay positive. I hope shit just works for you, and peace out.